Raven Steele stood in front of the large door of the villa, feeling anxious and excited. The neon lights from the extravagant parties inside illuminated the surrounding area, creating a sparkling yet cold atmosphere. She took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of fresh flowers and wine, but inside her heart was heavy. Today was not just an ordinary party. It was an opportunity for her to reclaim what she had lost. "Raven, are you sure you want to do this?" The voice of Lila, one of Maxwell's closest friends, echoed in her mind. Lila had advised her not to attend this party, but Raven knew that this was the time for her to stand up and confront Maxwell Knight, the man who had hurt her and her family. Just one time. Raven reassured herself. This one time is enough to change everything. She remembered the image of her parents, who had lost their lives in a tragic car accident. They had once lived in that house, the place that Maxwell currently occupied. The house was not just a property, it was a legacy, a memory, everything that they had left behind. Raven could not let Maxwell continue to ignore the truth and claim it as his toy. "Girl, are you preparing for a performance?" A teasing voice rang out from behind. Raven turned around to see Maxwell standing there, a smug smile on his face. "I know you don't belong here." Her eyes narrowed. "I'm not here to perform. I'm here to reclaim what's mine." Maxwell raised an eyebrow, his expression seeming both amused and mocking. "And you think you can do that? Let's see who will win tonight." The atmosphere around them suddenly grew tense. Raven felt as if thousands of eyes were watching her every step, from the elegantly dressed guests in expensive suits to the beautiful girls in lavish gowns. They knew nothing about her. But Raven felt like an outsider, a person lost in this extravagant world. "Maybe I don't have as much as they do," she thought to herself, "but I have one thing they don't have. The strength to fight for what I love." As she stepped inside, music echoed, laughter and chatter blending into a symphony of extravagance. Raven felt as if she was entering another world, where everything was sparkling and glorious, but also filled with deceit. She could see Maxwell chatting with a group of people, his gaze smug and arrogant. She knew he was not only a wealthy man but also a cruel one, who had exploited the weaknesses of others to satisfy his own vanity. "Raven!" A familiar voice called out. It was Zach, one of Maxwell's friends, someone she had met a few times. "What are you doing here? You're not one of them." "I'm here to uncover the truth," Raven replied, a nervousness rising in her chest. "You shouldn't be here," Zach said, his tone serious. "Maxwell is not someone easy to deal with." "And I'm not someone easy to defeat," Raven responded, her determination surprising Zach. She couldn't let fear take over. She had lost too much, and now she had only one goal: to reclaim the house, to reclaim her family's legacy. Raven knew she had to confront Maxwell, even if that meant facing the dark secrets she had never wanted to uncover. As her gaze swept over the crowd, Raven realized that this party was not just a fun occasion. It was a battle. A battle between the strong and the weak. A battle she could not afford to lose. "Girl, you can't imagine what awaits you," Maxwell whispered as he stepped closer, his eyes sparkling mysteriously. "Maybe," Raven replied, "but I'm not afraid." She turned towards the crowd, where the lights sparkled and laughter erupted, feeling the strength rising within her. This was the moment for her to prove that she was not just a maid, but a strong woman, ready to fight for what she believed in. And in that moment, Raven Steele knew that her life would never be the same again. The secrets would be unveiled, and the battle for her legacy had only just begun. As the party continued, Raven felt as if she were lost in a maze, where every gaze was fixated on her, looks filled with curiosity and mockery. She tried to maintain her spirit, but inside, fear and anxiety surged. Each step she took felt like a battle not just with Maxwell but also with herself. Raven. Lila, Maxwell's closest friend, appeared beside her. Her face smiling but her eyes full of concern. You shouldn't be here. Maxwell isn't an easy person. He can do anything to protect what he has. I know, Raven replied, her voice resolute. But I can't just stand by and watch him take over my family's home. Lila sighed, her expression turning somber. You don't understand, do you? Maxwell isn't just a wealthy man. He has a very powerful network. If you confront him, you will get into big trouble. And what if I do nothing? Raven said, feeling anger rising. Should I let him continue to hurt me and my family? No, I can't. Lila looked at her with empathy, but also with worry. I just want you to be safe. If you need help, just let me know. But please be careful. Raven nodded, but deep down, she was determined. She couldn't let fear take over her. The image of the home where her parents had lived and loved filled her mind. It wasn't just a house. It was where all her beautiful memories were stored, where she had the happiest moments of her life. After Lila left, Raven decided she had to dig deeper into Maxwell and how he had taken over the house. She quietly slipped out of the party and walked down the villa's hallway. The framed pictures and luxurious decorations only made her feel more out of place. She didn't belong here, but she would not let that stop her. She found a small office at the end of the hallway. The door was unlocked, and as she stepped inside, the light from a desk lamp illuminated a space filled with books and documents. Raven felt excited as she began to sift through the papers on the desk. She knew this could be her opportunity to uncover the secrets Maxwell had hidden. While searching, she found a thick file. Upon opening it, she realized it contained documents related to her family's home. Copies of paperwork, contracts, and even letters from lawyers. She couldn't believe her eyes. Maxwell had used forged documents to take over the house. Emotions surged within her, a fierce mix of anger and determination combining into a powerful force. Got you, Maxwell, she whispered. You will pay for what you have done. But just as she was immersed in the important information, the door opened, and Maxwell appeared. Raven, what are you doing here? He asked, his voice cold. She immediately closed the documents, but couldn't hide the panic in her eyes. I was just looking for some documents. Maxwell stepped inside, his gaze like a predator eyeing its prey. You shouldn't touch things that don't belong to you. That can be very dangerous. Dangerous for whom? Raven replied, trying to remain calm. Or is it for you? Maxwell smirked. Arrogance evident on his face. You think you can confront me? I've built an empire. You're just a little maid with nothing but pipe dreams. And you're just a greedy man, Raven said. Emotions bubbling. You took my family's home with lies and deception. I won't let you continue to do that. Maxwell stepped closer, his gaze becoming icy. Then you should be prepared. This fight isn't going to be easy. Raven felt a shiver run down her spine. But she couldn't let fear take over. She was determined, and now she would not back down. I will uncover the truth. No matter who I have to face, I will not give up. Maxwell raised an eyebrow, his smile a challenge. Very well. I look forward to what you will do. As Maxwell left the office, Raven felt as if everything was happening too fast. She had encountered a storm, and now she needed to prepare for what was coming. She returned to the documents, her heart full of determination. If she wanted to reclaim her home, she needed to gather enough evidence and seek support from those around her. Raven decided to meet Lila again. She needed a companion. Someone who could help her in this fight. She knew that Lila might not easily agree, but she hoped that their friendship would help overcome the challenges. As she left the villa, Raven felt the cool night breeze. She took a deep breath, feeling more determined than ever. Tonight, she would not just be a little maid. She would be a warrior, a protector of her family's legacy. Returning home, Raven opened the door and stepped into the familiar but empty space. She sat down at her desk, which once held beautiful memories. She opened her laptop and began searching for information about Maxwell, about the documents she had found. She knew this was a fight not just for the house, but also for her family's honor and pride. This is just the beginning, she told herself, her heart full of determination. I will not let him defeat me. She began typing keywords into the computer, searching for information that could assist her in this battle. With every passing moment, the tension rose again, but it also fueled her drive to press on. Raven Steele would not give up. She would fight for what was hers, and no one could stop her. Raven sat in front of the computer screen, the light reflecting off her face, creating strange shadows. The documents she had gathered over the past days now spread out on the table, each piece of paper like a puzzle piece in the larger picture of the truth she was searching for. She had spent hours researching and analyzing, but everything still seemed hazy. Maxwell can't just be a greedy person, she thought. There's something deeper, a secret he's hiding. She opened an old letter she had found in Maxwell's files. It was a letter from a lawyer, mentioning a secret deal related to her family's house. She felt her heart race as she read the words, each one cutting into her. If I can't prove that Maxwell used forged documents, I won't be able to get the house back, she thought, fear swelling within her. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was Lila. Raven, I need to talk. Let's meet at the cafe near home. Sure, Raven replied, anticipation rising. She didn't know what awaited her, but she felt the need to meet Lila. Maybe she had found something important. When she arrived at the cafe, Lila was sitting in a corner, her face tense. Raven, I've just heard some bad things about Maxwell. He's planning something big. And I don't know what he's going to do next. What? Raven asked, anxiety washing over her. What is he doing? Some people say that Maxwell is trying to legitimize ownership of your family's house by bribing local officials, Lila said, her voice lower. If he succeeds, you won't have any chance to get it back. Raven felt her heart stop. What do I do? I can't let that happen. You need to gather evidence immediately. If you can prove that he's deceiving, you can stop his plans, Lila advised. Raven nodded, determination filling her heart. I won't let Maxwell take my family's house. I will find the truth. Leaving the cafe, Raven felt as if she was standing at an important crossroads in her life. She could sense the tension in the air, as if everything was building up, waiting for a big shock. She decided to return to the mansion, where all the secrets awaited her. Upon entering the mansion, the atmosphere grew heavy. She felt as if something was lurking, a presence she couldn't identify. Raven went straight to Maxwell's office, where she had found the documents earlier. She knew that if she wanted to uncover the truth, she needed to go in there once more. The office door opened, and she stepped inside. The air in the room was cold, and the dim light from a desk lamp created strange shadows. Raven began rummaging through the documents, searching for any signs of deceit. She turned page by page, feeling as though time was slowing down. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. Raven, are you here again? Maxwell appeared at the door, his gaze like a stalking leopard. You shouldn't touch things that don't belong to you. You can't stop me, Raven replied, fully determined. I will find the truth. Maxwell stepped in, his gaze challenging. Do you really think you can win this battle? You don't know who you're up against. And you don't know how ready I am, Raven said, a strong feeling swelling within her. You can find what you want. But you'll have to pay the price, Maxwell warned, his voice a threat. If you continue, I won't hesitate to hurt those you love. Raven felt a shiver run down her spine. I won't let you scare me. I won't give up. Maxwell raised an eyebrow, his smile like a challenge. Good. I look forward to what you'll do. As Maxwell left the room, Raven felt everything was happening too fast. She had run into a storm, and now she needed to prepare for what was coming. She returned to the documents, her heart filled with determination. If she wanted to get the house back, she needed to gather enough evidence and seek support from those around her. She decided she had to find eyewitnesses to Maxwell's deceit. Raven remembered an old neighbor of her family, Mr. Thompson, who had lived there since the house was new. Maybe he would have valuable information. When she arrived at Mr. Thompson's house, she knocked on the door and waited. After a while, he opened the door. Surprised to see her. Raven. What are you doing here? I need your help, sir, she said, her voice trembling. I'm trying to learn about Maxwell and my family's house. Do you know anything? Mr. Thompson looked at her, concern in his eyes. Maxwell? I don't like the way he does business. There's something wrong with him. Can you tell me more? Raven asked, her heart full of hope. Once, I saw him talking to a group of shady people. They seemed very serious, and I felt like they were discussing buying your house, Mr. Thompson said, his voice lower. I was wary. But there was no evidence. Raven felt a spark of light flash in her mind. Thank you, I will look into that further. As she left Mr. Thompson's house, she felt she had made an important step forward. But the feeling of anxiety still lingered. She knew Maxwell would not give up the house easily, and he would do anything to protect what he had taken. She decided to seek more information from others in the neighborhood. Maybe they had seen or heard something. Raven started going from house to house, asking her former neighbors. Each person had their own stories, but no one had specific information about Maxwell. Finally, she met an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins. They had lived in the neighborhood for a long time and seemed to know a lot about what had happened. You're looking into Maxwell Knight, right? Mrs. Jenkins asked, her gaze full of sympathy. Yes. I need to know more about him, Raven replied, her heart full of hope. We've seen him come and go many times. Once, I heard him talking to a stranger about buying your house. They talked about using forged documents to legitimize ownership, Mr. Jenkins said, his tone serious. Raven felt as if a wave of emotion washed over her. Do you know who that man was? No. But I can help you find out more. We have some connections in the neighborhood. I'll ask around and see if anyone knows anything, Mr. Jenkins offered. Thank you, that means a lot to me, Raven said, her heart full of gratitude. As she left the Jenkins house, she felt like she had made an important step. But time was running out. Maxwell was preparing his plans, and she needed to act immediately. She returned home and began organizing the documents she had gathered. Each piece of paper, each letter contained important clues. She felt she was very close to the truth, but also felt the pressure mounting. She needed to find a way to deal with Maxwell before he executed his plans. That night, while she was working, she heard a knock at the door. She opened it to see Lila standing there, her face serious. Raven, I have bad news. What news? Raven asked, her heart filled with anxiety. Maxwell has started the process of buying back the house. Today, he met with a lawyer and was getting ready to sign the necessary documents, Layla said, her voice lower. No. I have to stop him. Raven exclaimed, the feeling of urgency overwhelming her. We need to act right now. If not, it will be too late, Lila said, her eyes filled with determination. We need to find evidence immediately, Raven said, fully determined. I won't let Maxwell take my family's home. As they returned to the mansion together, the atmosphere became tense. Raven felt as if everything was building up, waiting for a big shock. She knew this was a decisive moment where everything would be revealed. Upon arriving at the mansion, Raven and Lila sneaked inside. They needed to find the documents Maxwell was using to legitimize ownership. She led Lila to Maxwell's office, where she had found the documents earlier. "Be careful," Lila whispered, her eyes anxious. Raven nodded, her heart filled with determination. "We will find the truth." When they entered the office, they started rummaging through everything. Raven felt as if time was slowing down, every second was precious. She opened each drawer, flipping through every document. Finally, she found a thick file containing documents related to the house. "Here it is," Raven exclaimed, excitement rushing through her. She opened it and saw copies of papers, contracts, and even letters from lawyers. Each document held important information. But she needed to find specific evidence to counter Maxwell. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Maxwell appeared, his gaze like a stalking leopard. "Raven, you shouldn't be here. This is very dangerous." "We won't leave," Raven replied, her heart filled with determination. "I will find the truth." Maxwell stepped inside, his gaze challenging. "You don't know who you are up against. If you continue, I won't hesitate to hurt those you love." "I won't let you scare me," Raven said, strong emotions surged within her. "I will not give up." "Good. I look forward to what you will do," Maxwell said, his smile a challenge. As Maxwell left the office, Raven felt as if everything was moving too fast. She had run into a storm. And now she needed to prepare for what was coming. She returned to the documents, her heart filled with determination. If she wanted to get the house back, she needed to gather enough evidence and seek support from those around her. While she was rummaging, she suddenly noticed an old letter sitting in the corner of the desk. She opened it and read. It was a letter from another lawyer, stating that Maxwell had used forged documents to seize the house. The emotions within her surged, a mix of anger and determination combined into a powerful force. "That's right, Maxwell," she whispered, "you will have to pay for what you have done." As she left the mansion, Raven felt more determined than ever. She had found crucial evidence, and now she needed to act immediately. She would not allow Maxwell to continue to hurt her family. She returned to the cafe where she had met Lila. "I found evidence," she said, her heart full of hope. "We can stop Maxwell." "That's great. We need to get these documents to the lawyer and act quickly," Lila said, her eyes full of determination. As they returned together, Raven felt as though she was standing at an important crossroads in her life. She knew this was not just a fight for the house, but a fight for her family's honor and pride. She would not give up. And she would do everything to protect her legacy. When they arrived at the lawyer's office, Raven felt nervous. She had prepared for this meeting, but couldn't shake the feeling of anxiety within her. "We can do this," she told herself. As she entered the office, the lawyer welcomed them and listened to Raven's story. "If these documents are real, we might have a chance," he said, determination in his eyes. "We need to act quickly." "Thank you," Raven said, filled with hope. "I won't let Maxwell take my family's house." As she left the lawyer's office, Raven felt as if she had made an important step forward. She had found evidence and had the lawyer's support. But she knew Maxwell would not give up easily. She needed to prepare for the coming battle. She returned home and began organizing the documents she had gathered. Each piece of paper, each letter contained important clues. She felt as though she was very close to the truth, but also felt the pressure mounting. She needed to find a way to deal with Maxwell before he executed his plans. That night, while she was working, she heard a knock at the door. She opened it to see Lila standing there, her face serious. "Raven, I have bad news." "What news?" Raven asked, her heart filled with anxiety. Maxwell has started the process of buying back the house. Today, he met with a lawyer and was getting ready to sign the necessary documents, Layla said, her voice lower. No. I have to stop him, Raven exclaimed, feeling the urgency overwhelm her. We need to act right now. If not, it will be too late, Layla said, her eyes filled with determination. We need to find evidence immediately, Raven said, fully determined. I won't let Maxwell take my family's home. As they returned to the mansion together, the atmosphere became tense. Raven felt as if everything was building up, waiting for a big shock. She knew this was a decisive moment where everything would be revealed. When they arrived at the mansion, Raven and Layla sneaked inside. They needed to find the documents Maxwell was using to legitimize ownership. She led Layla to Maxwell's office, where she had found the documents earlier. Be careful, Layla whispered, her eyes anxious. Raven nodded, her heart filled with determination. We will find the truth. Raven stood in front of the house she had called home throughout her childhood. The atmosphere heavy with memories. The sun was setting, casting a golden-orange light on the walls, creating a scene that was both beautiful and melancholic. She could feel her parents' presence, as if they were standing beside her, encouraging her in this important moment. After gathering enough evidence against Maxwell, Raven decided it was not just a fight to reclaim the house, but also a fight to find herself. The documents she discovered were not only proof of Maxwell's deception but also memories of her parents, who had sacrificed so much to build this home. She had planned to reveal the truth, but in her heart, a big question lingered: was it worth continuing this fight? When Maxwell received the information that Raven had found documents proving his deceit, he did not hesitate to make threats. But instead of being afraid, Raven decided to confront him once again. I will not let you continue to deceive and hurt the people I love, she told him in their final meeting. Maxwell looked at her, his gaze full of challenge. Do you think you can win this fight? I have everything I need to protect myself. I don't need to win, Raven replied, her voice resolute. I just need to do what is right. As the confrontation between the two unfolded, Raven felt the tension in the air. Every word from Maxwell was like a knife, but she refused to waver. You can take over the house, but you cannot take away the memories and love my family has built here, she said. Maxwell was silent for a moment, then laughed mockingly. Love and memories won't help you in this fight. I don't need them to win, Raven replied, her heart full of determination. I will not let you destroy what my family has built. The fight was not just about the house, but also about the values of love, forgiveness, and memories. Raven realized that, although Maxwell might legally win, he would never possess the precious things she held in her heart. After weeks of struggle, Raven decided not merely to fight against Maxwell. She chose to extend a peace offer. If you truly want this house, I will let you have it, she said in a tense meeting. But you must promise to preserve the memories and traditions of my family. Maxwell looked at her, his expression changing. Do you really think I would do that? That is your choice, Raven said, her emotions swirling inside. I cannot continue living in hatred. I have learned that forgiveness is not for others, but for myself. Maxwell was silent, and a stillness extended between them. Raven could sense the turmoil within him. Perhaps, deep down, he felt as lonely and emotionally deprived as she did. As she left the meeting, Raven felt relieved. She had not only made a decision, she had chosen to live with love and forgiveness. No matter the outcome, she learned that true strength was not in winning a battle but in the ability to open her heart and forgive. Upon arriving home, Raven sat down at her workspace, where she had spent many sleepless nights searching for the truth. Now, she no longer felt lonely. She had found strength in the memories, from the love of her parents, and from the friends who always supported her. "Thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad," she whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I will cherish our family's legacy forever." Life continued to flow on, and Raven decided to use what she had learned to help others. She began participating in community activities, assisting families struggling to keep their homes. She wanted to convey the message that, no matter how difficult life became, love and forgiveness could always help us overcome. Step by step, Raven matured, no longer just a young girl seeking the truth, but a strong woman ready to face any challenge. She had learned that sometimes what mattered was not winning, but how we faced the difficulties in life. And when she looked back on what she had endured, Raven realized that regardless of whether Maxwell kept the house or not, the most important thing was that she had found herself. She learned that life is not always fair, but forgiveness and love will always guide us. As the sunlight waned, Raven stood before the house, her heart filled with hope. She knew that, no matter what the future held, she would always cherish the memories and love in her heart. And that was the most valuable legacy she could pass on to future generations. Legacy is not just the walls, she reminded herself. Legacy is what we leave in the hearts of others. She smiled, a sense of peace flooding her heart. Even though the road ahead might be challenging, Raven was ready. She would continue her journey, with love and forgiveness guiding her way.